Welcome everyone. I am Dr. Candace Elaine and welcome to Unapologetically Speaking with yours truly, Dr. C. Welcome everyone. This is the beginning of October and I am excited to be here. I love Mondays. So with this content, we're going to get into the forgiveness part. And that goes along with being stuck. Y'all know that I'm on this whole stuck movement, the unstuck movement. I think it's important that we have that in our lives because there's so many people that are stuck in their life, in their own way, stuck in relationships, stuck in their jobs, stuck in bad health situations, unhealthy situations. So, it's important that we all join the Unstuck movement. So what we're going to talk about this week, and we're going to talk about forgiveness of self. That is what we're going to talk about this week. However, in this content, we're going to talk about some of the reasons of why some of y'all don't know how to apply forgiveness, self-forgiveness. So this is self-forgiveness. It's easier for us to forgive others, but it's really hard for some of us to forgive self. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to bring to you some of the reasons why some of you are not able to forgive yourself. However, there is hope and you can learn how to apply self-forgiveness. But let's get into some of the reasons why you don't. Again, thank you for joining Unapologetically Speaking with Dr. Candace Elaine. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with someone that may be going through this. So let's get into the content. So here are some of the reasons of why some of you do not forgive yourself or don't know how to apply self-forgiveness. Okay. And when you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because I am one that will write it down. So let's get into number one. Number one is high self expectations. We have all these expectations for others and, sometimes people let us down and we can get over that. Some of us move on, some don't, but we're talking about self today. Now, high expectations for self, meaning where your expectations that you had for yourself, whether it was morally or whatever it is, whatever you're going through, or that battle of that forgiveness that you cannot forgive yourself, that expectation that you have exceeds the forgiveness. So you're not able to do it. You're not at a realistic standpoint with self where you're able to say, hey, I'm human. I messed up. This happened. It was once this. I have grown. I am able to level up. I'm going to forgive myself. You're not at that level because your expectations for yourself, you feel that you let yourself down. You were very critical in self. You're very critical to self. So you're not able to forgive self. That's that expectation, that unrealistic expectation that you had for yourself. Some could be realistic, but it's unrealistic when you're not able to forgive yourself, where you place yourself on a certain pedestal, or you have these certain high expectations for yourself, which is good to have high expectations. However, the unhealthy component to that is when you're not able to forgive yourself. So that is number one, setting these high expectations for yourself, but allowing those expectations to self-doubt, self-critical, not able to forgive yourself. That's unhealthy. So that is number one, your high expectations for yourself. That's number one. Number two is guilt and shame, where your guilt and shame, whatever you cannot forgive yourself, whatever has transpired in your life, whatever you have done, you are not able to forgive yourself because of that, because you're holding on to guilt and shame. And that is unhealthy, where you're not able to battle through the guilt and shame, where it exceeds the level of self-forgiveness. You can't even see yourself forgiving yourself. You can't see it because the guilt and shame is standing before you where you're not able to see it. That is number two. Number three is fear of repeating whatever it is you have done that you cannot forgive yourself. Whether you cannot forgive yourself for something you have done or something that someone else has done to you, and you feel I allowed it because I should have seen it. I should have seen it coming. I should have known better. So fear of repeating that, you're like, I will never forgive myself for that because you think holding on to whatever you did that hurt the circumstance, situation, or even hurt you, you feel I got to hold on to it so I won't repeat it. Unhealthy. It's not true. You can learn to let it go. You can. Number 4, lack of self-compassion. A lot of us walk around here with self-compassion for others and learn, and we know how to forgive others, and we know how to accept apologies and forgiveness for others and have compassion for others. But when it comes to self, we don't have that. So lack of self-compassion. What you need to learn how to do is love on you and learn some self-compassion for self so you'll be able to learn how to forgive self. Number 5, internal judgment. And some of that is from our upbringing. It's from whomever raised us, that culture, family pressure, where you feel if I forgive myself, they're going to look at me and say, you didn't have remorse. You didn't mean it. You didn't mean the apology, or you didn't grow, or you didn't learn from it. Societies have us thinking, especially family, society as well, but sometimes in different, family circumstances, if you have done something to yourself or done something, that did something to your life that was not good, an unhealthy decision. We all do it. None of us are perfect. We mess up. That's growth. That's life. That's how you learn, going through the trenches, and you learn and say, I'm not going to do that again. However, when we have these expectations and these different judgments on ourselves, and judgment coming from the outside judgment, we can't forgive ourselves because the family and outside influences will not allow us to forgive ourselves. Okay. That's number 5. Number 6 is consequences. Consequences. Yeah. If I forgive myself, what that look like? Not knowing what that look like, or if I forgive myself, I will have to, it's going to be consequences if I start loving on me, if I start forgiving myself. What that look like to others, especially if they are involved or they know whatever it is that transpired in your life or whatever it is that you have done that you need to forgive yourself from. So a lot of people are not forgiving themselves due to certain consequences. If I level up, if I forgive myself, if I get unstuck and start loving on me and moving in the right direction, I'm going to have backlash and certain unhealthy consequences. So that would be number 6. Number 7 would be childhood experiences, where childhood trauma. You don't know how to forgive yourself because you've never been forgiven and you wasn't taught to forgive. So childhood trauma. Childhood experiences can keep us stuck and stagnant. So that's another one. That's number 7, childhood experiences. Number 8, lack of coping skills. You don't know how, and when I say lack of coping skills, healthy coping skills. A lot of us have coping skills, but they can be unhealthy coping skills where, they don't serve us, but they get you through, but they don't serve you in the right way. But they get you on the other side, but not the side that you need to be on. And we need you to be on the unstuck side, the healthy side, the side that you know how forgiveness for self. So, meaning lack of healthy coping skills. You don't know how to forgive, move on, not repeat, release, regroup, move on. You don't know that. You know how to say, well, it is what it is. I did what I did. I said what I said, and I'm just going to just live my life. Do you really? When it still sticks with you and it still bothers you and it still lead you and it's very emotional for you, and you start to make emotional decisions because you haven't actually laid it to rest. You cope with, it is what it is. I'm going to move on, but I haven't healed from it. How you move on for something you haven't healed from? Think about that. How do we do that? How do you actually say, I'm going to move on, but you haven't healed from it? So you're going to move on. Really, you're taking it with you. Or it lies dormant inside. And then when you're triggered, it rises up again. healthy coping skills. That's what we want to be. Number 9, unresolved trauma and mental health issues can definitely keep you stuck in a place where you cannot forgive yourself. Anxiety, depression, childhood trauma, adult trauma, relationship trauma, unresolved trauma can keep you there where you are not able to forgive yourself. Okay? And number 10, resistance to vulnerability. Let's talk about that. Let's take a little deep dive, a small deep dive with the vulnerability. A lot of us don't like to be vulnerable. I used to be one of those. I didn't want to be exposed, meaning vulnerability means being exposed. Hey, it's all out on the table. Let's put all the cards on the table and you get to see what it really looked like and what it really is. A lot of us don't want to be exposed to that. We want to wear the mask and hide behind it. But when you take the mask off, you feel vulnerability. You have that vulnerability and you're exposed to things and people see you for who you really are and what has happened. And not only others, because let's put them to the side. This is about self. You get to see who you really are. And a lot of us don't want to see that because sometimes we think, and we were brought up from society and also from parental, our upbringing, that's a sign of weakness when you show that side of you. Actually, it's not. So we don't want to expose. So we have that resistance to that exposure of vulnerability because we're like, I'm not going to appear weak. No, I'm good. We use terms, I'm okay, when we're not. I don't want to appear weak. I don't want to ask for help. I can't forgive me and move on and level up because I'm going to have to do some work. Doing some work is going to require me to take the mask off. And now I won't appear as strong as I think I am. That is number 10. So if you are battling with any of these issues, I'm pretty sure it's more. Absolutely, it is more. But those are some of the reasons of why people cannot forgive self, where you don't have that self-forgiveness. And self-forgiveness is very important, especially if you want to get unstuck. Because when you don't have self-forgiveness, it keeps you stuck and stagnant. And again, we are moving and going into the realm and the world of the Unstuck movement. So if you're really serious about getting unstuck, after you watch this video, it's a couple of things I need you to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe and then join the Unstuck Chronicles with me. It is 5 weeks of the Unstuck Chronicles in my program where your life will become unrecognizable, where we can get you unstuck. I am Dr. Candace Elaine, and thank you for joining and watching Unapologetically Speaking. And please look out for my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a good day.